We are.
Welcome to Big Brother Basics. My name is Jacob Harple, and joining with me is the always fantastic, always fabulous Keith Guerrero. How are you doing, Keith?
I'm doing great. It's great to be back. I've missed Big Brother Basics, and I'm ready to break down Big Brother Canada Season 3.
I am ready too, and we are just about to uh, enter Big Brother Canada. It's premiering tonight, and we were getting ready to watch it, and we were just like, you know, you know what this season's missing? It's missing a Big Brother Basics cast assessment. Wouldn't you agree, Keith?
I definitely agree. I was watching two videos, and after the second one, I already had so many things to say. So let's just dive right into it, shall we?
Yeah, so the first house guest that we have is Bruno Yellow. That's just how I'm going to pronounce it. He's 31, lives in Ottawa, and he is a construction worker. He basically doesn't really have a set plan going in. He is just going to go in and adapt, and he's going to look at the house guests like the toolbox. Um, he's part of a big family, so he gets along with most people. And yeah, what do you think about Bruno? Oh, well, obviously you must really like him. You're so speechless, am I right? You yeah.
Absolutely. So actually, sorry, my roommate just came in, but
It's okay.
my first reaction to Bruno is like it's hard for him to seem likable in a pregame cast assessment, just because his type of personality seems very, I don't know, it just doesn't seem interesting to me.
Hmm.
However, I do think that he could potentially do very well in the game. He seems to have a high level of intellect, and he seems like somebody that is kind of in the middle personality-wise, and somebody that I think he would want to be controlling in the
Hmm.
game, so that could be something that might lead to his downfall. But overall, I was pretty impressed with Bruno's subcast tape submission. I think he's not going to be one of those clueless house guests. He has a few years on him, so he's not going to be he's probably going to be a little smarter than some of the other house guests as well. But I just don't see him being a fan favorite. But I think he's going to last a long time inside the house.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty big fan. The only thing that really makes me nervous is just, that parent mentality. Like, we don't know if he's going to be kind of chill and under the radar like Derek, or if he's going to come in guns blazing, ready to do whatever he can for his family like Devin. So I'm kind of in the middle with Bruno. But I'm leaning more towards the positive. He seems like he's a really big fan of the game. He really likes Paul and Adele from last season, but he knows the game well enough to be able to admit how bad Paul was. So that's pretty nice. I don't know. My prediction for Bruno is that we're gonna get an overload of tool puns. Like that's gonna be his thing. Like, oh, winning this HOH is a key tool for me winning this game,
Oh
or like,
God,
oh man, Brittany winning that veto really throws a wrench in my plan. That's my prediction for Bruno. But
you're so right. You're
but
so right.
I don't know. I like him. Um,
I think another thing that's going for him is he has the average Joe thing going on. Like he's not one of
yeah.
the buff people inside the game. And yeah, we'll just see how he does. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So next person is the Miss Fabulous Brittany Blair. She's 25 years old from Calgary, Alberta, and is a plus size model. She's funny, energetic, goofy. She wants to get one guy to align with her. She's not necessarily through a showmance, but she definitely seems down for that kind of thing. Um, and so her plan is to get her guy partner to be working with the guys while she holds down the fort with the girls. And yeah, so what do you think about Brittany?
Isn't it weird that when I first saw her, not even thinking or knowing what her occupation was, that I thought she was a model? Like, I honestly thought that she was actually a plus size model. And so when she actually was a model, I was like, oh, interesting. I think I like her less now.
Hmm.
But I think that she could play the game pretty smart. I am not going to put any eggs in her basket early on, though. I don't have much faith in Brittany long term in the game. But I'm interested to see her in the social dynamic of the house and see if like the competition is something that. I mean, in order to be a plus size model in New York, you have to be competitive to stand out. And I think Brittany has that going for her, and she obviously has to be charismatic. And she had a lot of like pretty cool like what is it? You know those uncensored footages, like when they were fixing her hair, that just made her seem like kind of likable too. So I think that she could make it far in the house, but I'm not sure. I think she could be a pre-jury type of food.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that same feel for her. I mean, she seems like a really fun person. I really enjoyed her personality, but I just this might sound bad, but I always have a weird Big Brother. You know what I mean? I always feel like they end up just getting used, or they don't really have a good grasp of what's actually going on in the house, and it costs them a spot later on in the game. Plus the whole working or her holding down the fort with the girls. Like, I don't know. I just think that it's whenever there's a girl that's sole strategy is to kind of rally the girls and keep them on our side, it usually always blows up in their face.
We saw how it worked for Joey and Pow Pow last season.
Yeah, so seems like a good person, but I'm not holding out for her. All right, so our third house guest is Bobby Halad. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but he's 27 years old, from Oakville, Ontario, and he's a rock climbing instructor. Seems like a fun-loving, crazy, and outgoing person. It's not in him to throw any competitions, but he's going to fight a little less on mental challenges, so they don't think he's that smart. He seems to be really strong in the social department, and he wants to try and be overly friendly and polite to everyone. He wants to be the guy that everyone wants to keep around. What do you think about Bobby?
I think Bobby, if you had to put, I think he basically is me inside the house. To be honest, I think he's like a free spirit. He's just naturally competitive. He does rock climbing. He does yoga. And I think that'll make him an all-around candidate for doing extremely well in competitions. I predict he's going to win the most competitions out of everyone, unless he gets evicted first. I think he's going to be either a first boot or he's going to be someone that lasts a long time, winning a lot of competitions. His over-the-top personality could rub off wrong to a lot of the house guests, or it could be endearing. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be hot or cold. And I hope he lasts long in the house because I actually really enjoyed his pregame cast assessment. And I think he has a lot to offer. What I didn't like initially was when he was talking about, the whole, showmance type of thing. And, he sounded like a douchebag there. But outside of that, I think he has a lot to offer to the game. And I think he could be one of the more dynamic characters if he makes it in the house a long time.
Do you feel like the term showmance has been thrown way too much in this cast?
It's shoved down everyone's throat.
Yeah, that was one of the big thing I noticed. It's I think every interview, I think everyone was asked, would you be down for a showmance? Would you be down for a showmance? And it's just kind of I don't know. But that's a whole different topic. Anyway, I think that ceiling for Bobby is actually really high. I really wasn't that crazy about him the first time I watched his interview. But I guess after reading more about him and kind of listening to other people's opinions on him, I'm leaning more towards liking him. I think what's going to make or break his game, I think, is just how strong his social game really is. Because if he is a really good competition threat, and it sounds like he's not going to throw a lot of challenges, if he can socially get in with a group or keep him around because he's winning all these challenges. But the flip side of that is if he doesn't really get in with a group socially and he starts winning all these challenges, he's going to become a backdoor target for everyone pretty early on.
I think the first few weeks are crucial for his game in order for him to make it. He has to make sure that his social connections are on point. And I think he actually said that in his video. He wanted to rely more on his social connections than competition wins within the first few weeks. And I feel like he has to.
Yeah. Plus, I don't really get the fight a little less during the mental challenges, because at the end of the day, if you're winning competitions, you're winning competitions. So it's kind of like if someone was really good at endurance, if that was their thing, people are still going to target them even if they're not that great at mental challenges or stuff like that. So I don't know. He's definitely a hot and cold for me. I think he's either going to crash and burn and be an early target, or someone that makes it really far in the game.
I'm rooting for him. I always got a soft spot for hippies and surfer guys.
Speaking of hippies, is Sarah Hanlon. She's 27 years old, Toronto, Ontario, and is a employee at the Vapor Lounge. A employee.
When I first saw her video, you know what was going through my mind, right?
Nicole.
Why do we have another Nicole in this game? I can't stand this casting. However, after I listened to her entire video, she became my favorite. Like out of
Really?
everything. Yeah, and I feel like her answers were more of like she's very very quick because I feel like she's already knowledgeable of the game and she doesn't really have much to talk about it. And I think that she's more of a doer than a sayer. I feel like she's going to do things inside the house. And what I really loved was when she had that last line of saying that she's not going to go into the house with any fear. And I think a lot of house guests go into the house with fear because they're afraid that they might, if they do something or not do something, they'll prohibit them from moving on to the next week. That attitude off the bat, saying she's going to be fearless,
Mm-hmm.
I think is going to suit her up so well. And then she's going to play like maybe the dumb blonde thing to her advantage. And I don't know, I became a really, really big Sarah fan after watching the video.
Yeah, I actually like her, and she's someone that I think
Surprising.
is shut up. I can't resist those Nicoles, man. Those glasses. I think she's definitely got the right idea. It's just I don't know. Like I could see the same problem that Nicole ran into during her season. I could see that happening to Sarah. Like it's great that she wants to unite the Stranglers after all of the people in power. Like people get sick of the people in power, want to flip, but it's really going to come down to how strong her social pull on the house really is, and if she is going to be able to unite the Stranglers or the people that are on the bottom and convince them to overthrow the people that are running things, which unfortunately for Nicole, she wasn't able to do. Um, I agree that I like that she's fearless. She seems to have a pretty quirky personality, so I'm hopefully she seemed like she was working it a little bit extra for the interviews, and I'm hoping that's more so just for like the casting process, and that when she gets into the house, she kind of tones it down a little bit, because if you're too unique or too awkward, that's something that people will prey on in the early rounds. But I'm betting that she's gonna be able to tone herself down and socially integrate herself with the cast. So I'm pretty high on Sarah too. No pun intended.
Yeah, I really think she's one of the most intelligent people going into the game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how she plays. All right, next house guest is Zach Olenek. I don't know. I just keep butchering these last names.
Names are getting you.
I know, but he's 22 years old from Regina, and is a university student. He's fun, energetic, competitive. He wants to align himself with a close group of 4 people. And once he's built up his social game, he's going to let his physicality come into play. He says it's going to be hard to hold back from winning competitions, and because he always tries his best, and he wants to try and find good, loyal people, and will not be opposed to a showmance or even a bromance. What do you think about Zach?
What I think about Zach is that we have our jock. And what I thought was interesting was that he was going to go more along with the jock route than the pre-med route. Like I would think that if you go with the jock route, you'll be more of a threat to be eliminated from the game. Whereas if you go the intellectual route, you might be able to stay a little bit longer. So the fact that he's wanting to go through the jock route already makes me think that he's a lost cause. And another thing was when he was saying, I know this game's about lying and cheating, but I'll do that to an extent, but there's certain things that will I won't cross because of my values and morals. He's putting a limitation on himself going into the game, where a lot of these house guests have absolutely no limitations to what they'll do to win this game. So I think if Zach wins, it'll be by luck, it'll be by happenstance. I don't see him making it that far, and I think his strategy going in is pretty bad.
Do you get a Brendan vibe from him?
You know what? I guess he could be the Brendan type, but I'm actually getting more of like a Hayden feel.
See, like Hayden Moss?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't like Zach. I think he could be a little cocky. I think he's someone that when he wins HOH, I think he's gonna kind of rule the house with an iron fist. He's like someone that I want to see like Sarah like overthrow and like manipulate and get out of the house.
Yeah.
I also don't like the whole I want to align myself with a group of 4 people. Like I just see that like I don't know. I think the goal is you want to try and go in and feel out everybody and then make a decision on who you want to align with. Don't have like a set number of people that you want in an alliance. It just kind of seems, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a solid plan depending on how he interacts with everyone else.
Yeah, I'm sure people will perceive him to be trustworthy.
I bet he's first HOH. I could just see him being the first HOH and just like, I just want people that are going to be loyal, and he's going to make an alliance, and then they're going to backdoor him, and he's going to be pre-jury. That's my Zach storyline.
he actually could be like a Frank.
Like a what?
I could see him playing like a Frank type of game where he isolates himself and he's just constantly having to win competitions to stay in the game.
Yeah. I don't know. That's really all I have to say.
Not really a fan of Zach.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course I'm open to once the game starts, but that's just my initial reaction to him. Next house guest is Willow McDonald, and she's 26 years old from Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, and is a sales and marketing rep. She's energetic, spontaneous, impulsive. Her strategy is to make people think that she doesn't have a strategy at all. I guess basically wanting to make herself kind of look like a floater, while she's actually going to be analyzing everyone constantly, and she wants to align herself with intelligent people and probably the ones that are a bit more calm and cool. These people will help offset her wild and impulsive nature, and she knows that she needs that. What do you think about Willow?
Just watching her video by itself, like, she's very enthusiastic and she's very extroverted, but that could also be her biggest demise. Like, she's definitely somebody that is in your face, power punch personality, laughing all the time, seeming like she's having the time of her life. But for me, that's a turnoff in somebody. Like, she could come across very fake, and I wouldn't know what's genuine, what's real with her. So I think she'll definitely need to tone it down a bit if she wants to come across trustworthy. But I did like that she said something she finds attractive in friends is that introvert, that quiet person, to balance her out. And it will be cool to see if she partners up with somebody who's a little bit like that. I'm not really sure who in this cast would be the introverted one yet.
Yeah.
Because it's all pregame, but I would love to see like an opposite, like a yin and yang type of relationship. And I think in that way I could like Willow. But just from the cast assessment alone, she would definitely be like too much for me to handle with like how much, like just her energy is a little too out there in your face.
Yeah, energetic, spontaneous, and impulsive are three very dangerous words for me. Those are three words that I don't think mix well in Big Brother, and so I agree. If she can find someone that yin to her yang that can kind of talk her down the ledge, then I think she has a good chance. But I don't know. I was pretty high on Willow, but now looking at her bio again, I'm actually not that sure. I could kind of see herself kind of blowing up at one point. Like if something doesn't go her way, or like the moment she hits the block, she totally flips out. So I don't know. I want, I don't know if I put money on her just yet.
Yeah, and I wonder how tall she is too. She seems a little short.
She does seem a little short.
Like a little firecracker, which will be fun.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so next we have Cindy Nguyen. She's 25 years old from Huntsville, and is an assistant cruise director. She's sassy, spontaneous, honest. She doesn't have much of a strategy going in. She's a very analytical person, so she's going to decide what she needs to do when she needs to do it. She wants to just kind of play the role as a clueless pageant queen. So what do you think? What do you think about Cindy with an S?
She is a clueless pageant queen. She is the clueless pageant queen of this game. I mean, the first minute of her video was the same icebreaker she probably did to every casting director, which was, my name's Cindy with an S, and my biggest pet peeve is if you spell Cindy with a C. Like, come on, you're so basic right now. I've learned absolutely nothing about you, and you're on the superficial stuff, and you only have 1.5 more minutes to go to impress me. So I'm really disappointed with Cindy's casting tape. And of course, it's just the pregame cast assessment, so I'm not really sure if there is anything more deep than that. But very, very disappointed with the content of her video specifically, and I don't really have anything to go off of. My impression is that she's clueless and that she won't make it far.
Yeah, I don't like her either. I think she's gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. Uh, I could see her being the first one out.
I also could see her having like the Victoria kind
Yeah,
of.
I could see. I could. Oh, I totally see that too. But yeah, I don't really. I think she's at best going to be dragged to a certain point in the game.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
all right. So next is Pilar Namir. Um, she's 22 years old from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and is a student. She's fun, outgoing, crazy, but in a good way. She doesn't really know what strategy she's going to use when going in. She just wants to go in there and go with it. And I think that's pretty much it. She definitely feels comfortable being around all the people because she's one of 10 children. She grew up in a house with 12 people, and dinner time was crazy. So she knows how to fight for her bread, and she's going to try and fight for that money. What do you think about Pilar?
So you know how I was like really commending them and bringing like those spontaneous footages to get a sneak peek of what their personality's like outside of the staged answer. Well, that was Pilar's entire video, where she was just constantly laughing and not answering questions. And when she did answer questions, she was kind of dead. And but she might have been having a long day. And something else that I really respect about Pilar is that she's international. I mean, she's from Mexico and she's now in Canada, and I believe she travels somewhere else in between. And so constantly having to adapt not only to like I adapted to new states, she adapted to new countries, and now having to learn English as a second language. I think that she is resilient, and she'll be able to handle the type of dynamics that happen inside the Big Brother game. I was concerned that she would play the game a little bit too honest, but I think she still will do that. But she also has the mind frame that it's a game, and she's aware that she's in a game, and people could manipulate her. So I actually think Pilar can do a pretty decent job. I think she's like even her being inside. I didn't know she had 10 siblings. That's something else that's going to help her like just blend right in, just be a part of the family, and kind of seem non-threatening. But her DRs are going to be rough. There's going to be no DR footages of Pilar within the first few weeks, but she'll make it in the game. I think pretty long.
Yeah, I don't think Pilar has a chance of winning, but I think she could definitely make it really far. I could see her be like in the final four.
Hmm.
Um, one thing, and I think it is cool that she's one of 10 children, but in a way that could kind of backfire because if she's so used for like fighting for attention, it's like you almost don't want to fight for attention in the Big Brother house, especially in the early stages. And so if she tries too hard to like make herself known, it might give her a target, or it might give her some allies. So I think it's just going to be, it's going to depend on how well she can get along with people, and if people are going to think she's really funny or if she is annoying. But I like her, and I think she's definitely someone that will be in the game for a long time. I just don't think she has a chance of winning.
Could you imagine her? She would be like Gina Marie in the final two.
Oh my gosh, anything's possible. Okay, oh, this will be good. The next person is Johnny Colatruglio.
Good job.
I don't know. He's 26 years old from Winnipeg, and he's an IT project manager. He's crazy, outgoing, funny. He's a huge super fan, so he knows not to go into the house with any preconceived plans because there's always going to be twists and wild cards, so you don't really know what to do until he's actually in there. He just wants to get to know people on a personal level, find out what makes them tick, and hopefully not rub anyone the wrong way. What do you think about Johnny?
What I love about Johnny is that he's a blogger, and I think that like just shows like his passion and dedication to the game. But being a blogger, you also become very opinionated, and I don't think Johnny's going to be able to detach his opinions whenever he's inside the house. He already has a mentality of being a blogger and judging everybody, every Big Brother contestant that has played the game before, and he's going to be doing that while he's in the house. And if he's not satisfied with the people that he's around, it's going to show all over his face. I don't think he's going to be able to hide his nonverbals at all. I think he's going to. I just don't see him making a good impression with the rest of the house guests. I think it's going to be like an oil and water type of vibe. That's kind of the impression I'm getting from Johnny. But who knows? Maybe he could turn it around, but I think he's just going to be very judgmental, and he's going to choose battles that don't need to be chosen to address. Like with the cleaning thing, like if you're going to talk about like cleanliness and make that like an argument, a point of contention when it's unnecessary, it just reminds me of like the lotion for Brittany and Devin. That was like completely unnecessary, right?
But if you use the bathroom, wash your hands.
It's nasty.
It's nasty. No, I can agree. I agree. I'm actually kind of high on Johnny, though. I think I do agree that he will have those feelings about people, and it might be harder for him to hide it. But if he can just like keep that all in and just use that for the diary room, like I don't mind if you go off on house guests, just do it behind their backs. And so I'm hoping if he can kind of use the diary room as kind of a stress reliever, then he can actually. Yeah, I think he can make it really far, but I think he knows enough about the game. I don't know. I could see him coming in, and then the overall experience, the realness of it all, just kind of gets to him, and he kind of just cracks. But I'm hoping that he will be able to, just take a deep breath and go into it, and just navigate through the game 1 week at a time.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing about Johnny?
Yes.
I think what he's going to bring to the table is that he's going to be very analytical, but I think he's going to be way too over-analytical. I think that's my critique of him. But who knows? Maybe he'll do a better job than I'm giving him credit for.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, next person up is Kevin Martin, and he's 22 years old from Grand Prairie in Alberta, I think. I don't know. And he's a professional poker player. He's enthusiastic, optimistic, and level-headed, and he just wants to go in and relax. Everyone's going to be charged and crazy, and he just wants to stay chill. It's a marathon, and while he's staying relaxed, he's going to let all the other house guests get worked up and destroy their own games. Another interesting thing about Kevin is he plans on throwing every single competition. He wants to bring throwing competitions to a beautiful new art form. What do you think about Kevin? Because I think he's definitely one of the most interesting house guests.
I really liked Kevin whenever he said he was a professional poker player, because I love seeing people with having to do deception in an occupation into the game of deception. I think it would be an easy transition. But what I didn't like, Kevin, was when he started opening his mouth. Like I found it very unlikable. And I know he's not going to be that way to the house guests. I feel like he will be able to charm them, because that's the type of person he is. But I feel like I'll be very against Kevin throughout the season, and I feel like I'll be against him inside the VRs. His level of cockiness is through the roof, and that's ultimately going to work against him. Or it could end up being like a Dr. Will thing in the making. Who knows?
Okay, so when I first watched his interview, I loved Kevin. I was like, he's saying all the right things. He's got that aura about him.
He reminded me of your gameplay, actually. Sorry to say, cut that out, but yeah, that's interesting. But
I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think you can play the way he plays in the format right now. Like, people, like, and he makes it sound like he's going to make it very well known that he's throwing everything, and I think with as many people in there that are super fans, they're going to sniff that up, and it's going to scare the shit out of them. I don't know. Also, he seems like someone that I'm afraid would get really comfortable. Like, he's talking about how it's important for him to relax and just take it easy, and it's like, you almost don't want to be that comfortable. Like, so it's really, really scary. But I mean, he's super charming, super charismatic. I just don't know if he can go through the entire game without at least winning. And I don't know. I want him to do well. I think he's super interesting, and definitely one of the few people that really stood out to me in these interviews. I don't know, man. I just don't know if it can be done now at this time.
What did you think of his comment about like throwing competitions to the point where it makes him trustworthy?
Like, people always know. It's just
authentic in throwing competitions.
My problem with that, though, is like, if your thing is that everyone knows that you're not going to win any competitions, like, the first thing that you think of is Dr. Will, who's one of the most, conniving, like biggest manipulators of the game. So it's like it doesn't even matter if he's super honest about it because if people are going to take that and still think that he's just manipulating them or lying to them the entire time. So I don't know. I think anyone that has like a decent head on their shoulders is going to get super paranoid about it and they're going to want to take him out. And like no one's gonna really like I feel like there are a lot of macho guys who are really focused on winning competitions, so they're gonna see someone like him and view him as absolutely useless because he's not gonna win anything. So I don't know. I want him to I really want him to do well. I'm not getting my hopes up yet because I could see him being an early boot. Next person is I'm not sure how to say her name. Is it Naya?
Neha, I believe.
Neha Sareen. She's 29 years old from Toronto, Ontario. Is a chiropractor entrepreneur. She's a hustler, outgoing, genuine. Her strategy is to be mental. She's a very competitive person and is in pretty good shape. She's done marathons, and so she thinks she's going to be great at physical challenges, and she's very intelligent, so she should be able to do well at mental challenges too, except for memory-based ones. She'll have to work on those a lot. And that's her strategy of winning. So I'm going to let you start us off on her.
Just like looking, like her look, I thought I wasn't going to like her, but after I watched her video, I became a really big fan of Neha. I thought that she kind of really reminded me of Janelle without trying to be Janelle. And that's awesome. I think that she'll have resistance early, like with the house guests. I don't think she'll mesh with them initially, but I think she's going to prove herself in competitions, and that'll ultimately gain some respect with some potential allies that might be the underdogs. And I could see her being a part of the underdog alliance and really taking over the majority of the house. So I have high hopes for Neha. I think she's somebody that we could root for inside the game. And I hope she doesn't disappoint me because I really do think that she could be an interesting personality both inside the DR and inside the house dynamics. And I actually think that she's gonna do well in the game.
Oh man, I don't know, man. She just seems really one-dimensional to me. Like your strategy is just going there and being good at competitions. I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna have that social prowess to kind of get in with people. So I could see her being really alienated or catty to certain girls, which might kind of be her downfall. I think she's definitely gonna be like one of those girls you just don't want to mess with. But I think that someone's gonna mess with her, and it's not gonna be pretty. But I don't know. I'm interested to see how she does. Okay, we've got Greg with a G, Merritt. He's a former baseball player. He's 36 years old from Pitt Meadows, and yeah, pro baseball scout and coach. He's passionate, emotional, and real. And his plan is he's going to tell everyone that he's 30 years old and he works at Costco because he doesn't want people to know that he recruits players for baseball and that he was a baseball player himself because that might do a target on his back. And so yeah, so I guess that's what he wants to do is just kind of go in there and create like this fake persona for him. So what do you think about Greg?
Well, I don't think anybody really would care if people said he played baseball or not, because he looks like a jock anyway, right? So, yeah. And with baseball being such an important part of his life, it'll give him less things to talk about and to be passionate for, and so I think that'll prohibit some relationship building. So it's not like Derek, where he's a cop, where that shit you definitely should conceal from the rest of your housemates. I mean, I don't see the connection of why you would conceal like recruiting baseball players, but that's another story. I already see the bromance happening between Greg and Zach, and it makes me want to shoot myself. And I really hope that they don't click, but I could see it happening, and it's not going to be nice. I think that I thought it was interesting that he was 36. He looks younger, so he could blend in with the rest of the cast, so I don't think his age will work against him. And the fact that he was bringing his age down to 30, I think, is actually good for him. But I don't have any hopes for him. I think his gameplay is actually one-dimensional, and he's going to be just basically Jace. He's the Jace of the season.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I guess the reason he wants to hide the baseball thing is maybe for money reasons. Like they might think that he is well off financially, so he won't need the money. I don't know because like if you're good at competitions, you're good at competitions. Um, I think the lying thing, I could see him getting tripped over it because it's like it's one thing like what Derek did because he just told people what he did before he was an undercover cop, so
Right.
it came off natural. Whereas he is just making up like a whole new like career, like something he has no experience in. So it might come off as disingenuine to a couple of people, or he might trip up, and then it's like, why would he lie about something so small like that? And it'll kind of
Exactly.
turn people away from him. So I don't know. I'm not too high on Greg. I could see him being part of like a bomb squad type alliance, and that's pretty much it. All right, next person is Ashley Wood. She's 21 years old from Calgary, Alberta, and is unemployed. She's friendly, goofy, sassy. She wants to focus on her social game at first and be kind and nice to everyone. As I guess as opposed to being mean and horrible to everyone. Anyway, she's not planning on.
Well, we
Sorry,
know how you feel about her.
well, I actually kind of like her. I just reading that sentence, I was just kind of like, well, that's a like, oh, cool. What's your strategy that's going to be different than everyone else? I'm going to be nice and kind to everybody. Oh, okay. Let's just write her the check right now. Uh, she's not planning on winning any competitions early on, and she doesn't want to win the first HOH because she doesn't want to have to make those big decisions right off the bat and doesn't want a target on her back. She wants to align with a group of people that you don't expect, people who are a bit nerdy and quiet and under the radar. As the season goes on, I'll have to win some competitions and do the dirty work if I have to. What do you think about Ashley Wood?
I liked her. She had the best uncensored clips out of everyone, and it just made her seem really, really likable. I could see girls being jealous of her, which could be an issue with Ashley's game long term. But I think she has a good mentality in really trying to have the social connections to prolong her in the game. Her video was actually the first video that I watched, I think.
Mhm.
And I think that it set the tone for the rest of the cast. And I think Ashley set like pretty high expectations for me. Um, Another thing that I noticed with all the videos asking if they wanted to win first HOH or not, I'm really surprised that a lot of people like want to throw the first HOH because a lot of winners won the first HOH. So I find it very surprising that a lot of them don't want that responsibility at the beginning of the game. But you know, maybe they're just confident in their social game, and I think Ashley does have the ability to be likable to the rest of the cast. But it's just a matter of I don't know. I think the girls especially will be jealous of Ashley, and that could hinder Ashley's game long term.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about Ashley. I want to like her, but I just don't think she really has like the social or the strategic prowess to really win the game and navigate herself. Every answer she gave was just kind of like cookie cutter. Like this is what I'm supposed to say. Like it's kind of like, how do you feel about winning the first HOH? It's kind of like when you're at a job interview and they're like, would you be opposed to working on the weekends? It's like, oh, well, yeah, of course. I definitely, don't want to win first OH because I don't want a target on my back. So I don't know. So I want to be wrong because she seems like a really cool and down-to-earth chick. I don't like that she wants to align with people that are necessarily quiet and under the radar. It's like you want to be the quiet and under the radar people. You know what I mean? Like you want to align yourself with the bigger personalities that you know will go before you. And so it's kind of like little things like that that just doesn't make me think she's going to be anything too special strategy-wise. So, but I hope I'm wrong.
She reminded me of actually.
Who?
She reminded me of Ashley in Ian's season,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm hoping that she's going to be a lot better.
yeah. Me too. Me too. Next we have Godfrey Manguiza, and
Why did you like that? No, I'm kidding.
I was just trying to pronounce it. Oh my god. Anyway, He's 22 years old. He's from Toronto, Ontario, and he's a psychology student. He's charismatic, indecisive, and crazy. My plan is to keep everyone distracted and paranoid, and he'll be the one stirring up rumors. He wants to get people to go against each other while he's under the radar, and yeah, it sounds like he just wants to sabotage people constantly and spread rumors and secrets about everyone in the house. What do you think about Godfrey?
What I really loved about Godfrey, I was like, nah, I'm not sure, but when he said, in every Big Brother game, 5 people are there for the fame, 5 people have no business being there, 4 people actually have some sort of content, like reason to be there, and there's going to be one winner, and I'm going to be that winner. I thought he was so spot on, but I think he's there for the fame. And I don't think he's going to win. I think he's a loose cannon. But what I like about Godfrey is that he is a self-proclaimed hypocrite, and if you don't accept that before moving forward into the house, you're gonna get destroyed, because he says one of his biggest pet peeves is that he is gossiping, but he's gonna go into the house and gossip about every single person. So I like that about him, and so I don't know. I think he's a wild card. He could either be really really good inside the game, or he could just be doing it for the attention. But I love that 5-5-5 like comparison. I thought it was so spectacular.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, it just seems super aggressive to me. Like, it's kind of like a strategy Devin. Like, he's got like this mindset of what he wants to do, and he's gonna do it no matter what, no matter how badly it affects his game. Like, because essentially all you really need is, like, if he's so aggressively spreading rumors, it's not gonna take long for people to figure it out by just comparing notes, and his name's going to get brought up sooner or later, and I think that's what's going to screw him over. I just think he's going to be really sloppy with his strategy, and it's going to catch up to him fairly quickly. So I don't know. He just seems too crazy for me. Like, indecisive, crazy, charismatic. Come on.
I'm probably going to be rooting for him for the first 3 weeks.
I knew you would be too. I was like, Keith is going to eat Godfrey up. I just know it. I knew it. Okay, so next we have Jordan Parhar. He's 21 years old from Cloverdale, and he's a student. Jocular, perceptive, resilient. He just wants to try and make friends early on and get their trust. He doesn't want to go in line and backstabbing people because that'll put a target on your back. Wait, I think he's sarcastic when he says that. He's probably the biggest threat in there because he looks really innocent, but he's actually super cutthroat on the inside. Seems to be a huge super fan. What do you think about Jordan?
I think it's going to be easy to root against Jordan, and I think the reason why he was casted was because they think that he's delusional, in the sense that his biggest strength that he can bring is his intellect. I know age is nothing but a number, but he's 21 years old. There's way more for him to learn. And I think right now he's at the stage where he thinks he knows it all, and he's going to fall down and bite the bullet hard when he finds out that he does it. Also with him saying that he's going to like downplay his intelligence and like act like somebody who he's not, I think people will just be able to see right through it. So I think it's going to be easy to root against Jordan. However, I think I'm kind of going to root for him. Like, I want him to like fulfill all of these self-fulfilling prophecies that he's laying out for himself. And I think that he does have like a good grasp of what to do in the game. I think it'll be funny to see like his flaws and trying to execute his plans. But I think I'll end up rooting for Jordan in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Him when my first impression, I wasn't a big fan of him, just because I got like that whole like Nick Uhas feel from his interviews, like, oh, I've got this game all figured out already, I know what I'm doing. But I think that's really just kind of like a ploy that he used to kind of get cast as being that really overconfident, like manipulative guy. I really like how he's going to be super innocent but actually really cutthroat. I think he's going to be someone to really keep your eye out for. I think the potential for Jordan is really high, and yeah, I think he has a good shot of winning. I think there's a lot of big personalities in there, and he's not really the only quote unquote super fan with the build And he's not the, but he's also, sorry, he's not the only like skinny guy too. Like you've got like Johnny, Kevin, so he doesn't really have to be worried about immediately pegged out as like, oh, this is the snake in the grass, Derek guy.
I don't
So
know. I see that though. I see the snake in the grass in him. Like just his aura. Does I see that? It's a little
yeah,
bit what the house guests see because I see the complete opposite from you. Like for me, he's basically his edit was basically the Ian edit where he's the nerd. He's the person that's a super fan, and those are dangerous characteristics inside the Big Brother game. It's just a matter of they view it as dangerous or not.
yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I think he has a really good shot of winning.
Hmm.
And our final house guest, Risha Dinner. She's 41 years old from Toronto, Ontario. She's a waitress, independent, sensitive, fun. She doesn't really have anything defined at this point as far as strategy goes, but she knows what not to do. People that go in with a set strategy are not realizing that there are other people that are going to throw a wrench in her plans. Oh, she's sounding like Bruno right now, that Tool pun. Anyway, she just knows that she has to adjust to her environment, and she feels like she might be intimidating to some people, but she wants to show others her nurturing and caring side. What do you think about Risha?
She is going to be the person that gets the most gifts made of her with that plastic surgery on her face. I mean, her body's banging. She is 41 years old, and she doesn't look 41, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
she's taking really good care of her body, but, like, her face and the way she stood inside the chair throughout the whole interview with her, like, cheekbones all rose up and just trying to be on point with every single one of her answers, that like perception of perfection is definitely going to be Risha's downfall in the game. I did like that she said she was a waitress for 20 years and she really perceptive of people's body languages and she could tell if people are upset and she could use that to her advantage. I just really think this is going to be the Donnie complex where the age is going to be a factor in her bonding with some of the people in the house.
I completely agree. Yeah. I'm sorry. Do you have anything else?
That was basically like my last point.
Yeah, that's the big thing I'm worried about for her. I think she, nowadays people, our Big Brother cast seem to be primarily younger and younger, although we do have a couple of people over 30, which is promising. So I don't think she's totally hopeless as far as like socializing and finding connections with people. I just think she might be an early target because she might not exactly fit in. Or she kind of sticks out for her age and how she looks, and I don't know, but I think she knows enough, I think, to not really get on anyone's bad side. Independent and sensitive are not the greatest words. I feel like she might alienate herself from a lot of people in the beginning, and if she's really sensitive, I think Big Brother's a game where rumors are going to get created. There's going to be a tons of gossip, and I could kind of see it maybe breaking her down a little bit. So I don't know. I really liked her, and she seems like she could be a really good character. I just don't think she's going to make it far enough to develop that.
She's actually, I thought of 2 pre-jury boots that she blended in, so I'm pretty sure she's going to just be another pre-jury boot.
Yeah. So, we just went through the cast.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to do now, before we wrap this up, I want to go ahead and let's both pick who we think is going to be the winner, who we think is going to be the first boot, and who we think is going to be the most robbed of the season. So, do you have who you think your first boot is going to be?
I'm looking, and it's tough because there's a couple people that stand out, but I do think I have who my first boot's going to be.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and go first. First boot, I think it's going to be a girl, and I'm going to have to go with Risha, unfortunately. I think it's going to be an easy target. She's going to feel a little awkward at first, and so when it's time to pick someone, that first round, it's just kind of like anyone that isn't me. So she's going to be kind of an easy target because no one's going to really click with her that much, so they really don't have to worry about angering the house. And It sucks. I really don't want her to be the first one to go, but I think that's who I would put my money on.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Johnny will be the first dude.
Really?
Yeah, I could see that happening actually. I think, I think he could be the first one to go for just being playing way too hard the first week.
Okay. So now, what about most robbed? Who do you think is going to be the most robbed of the season?
This one I had at the very beginning, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the most robbed player of the season is going to be Jordan, because I think what's going to happen, he's going to have a humbling experience where he realizes he doesn't know it all. He's going to recover. People are going to start rooting for him, and then all of a sudden, when things seem to line up and go his way, he's going to get blindsided and evicted. So I see Jordan being the most robbed because he's intentional with everything he does. He puts thought into it, and he tries to execute it well, and he just will end up not getting it done. So I think he'll be the most robbed.
Okay, I could see that. My most robbed, I think, is going to go to Sarah. I think she's going to have all the makings to win at the end. I think she's going to have really great bonds, and she's going to be good at challenges. I just think when push comes to shove, she's going to try and make a move and rally people against the wrong person, and it's going to backfire her, and everything that she worked for is going to come crashing down, kind of like Nicole from Big Brother 16. I think she's going to have a set plan, go through it, and it's just going to backfire. And it's going to cost her her win. And it'll be devastating. Okay, so now, last but not least, who's your pick, the winner of Big Brother Canada 3?
It's a toss-up between, I have two people that side by side are my favorites. Actually three, but since I thought of him last, it was number 3. But I'm going to go with Sarah. I'm thinking that Sarah will plant the seeds that she needs to plant. I think she is going to make the connections that she needs to make, and I'm really excited to see what type of fearless moves she's going to put inside the game. But right behind her, I have Neha. I think Neha's also going to do extremely well and will have a resume to warrant a win at the end should she make it there. So those are the two I was tossed up with number 3 being my boy Bobby.
My boy Bobby. I think that I'm going to have to go with Jordan. I think Jordan's going to pull it out. I think he's got enough big personalities to where, as long as he's smart enough to tone himself down, he doesn't have to worry about losing his temper. Other people will do that for him. He's going to find some loyal people that'll ride to the end. I think he's going to find his Cody, and the Cody's going to take him to the final 2, and Jordan's going to steal the win from him. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. But we won't know until it happens, and I'm just excited for the season to start.
Same here. And the season actually starts tonight, so maybe we'll break down that episode tonight as well. Who knows?
Exactly. We'll just see. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked our cast assessments. Be sure to follow us both on Twitter. My Twitter is Jacob Harple. And what's yours, Twitter? What's your Twitter? Most Hubble. Most Hubble. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for future episodes following the Big Brother Canada 3 season. And thank you for watching. Stay basic.
Stay basic.
Bye.